Hola, hola, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Before we start, antes de que empecemos, I just want to remind you this is a bilingual presentation and es una presentación bilingüe. So here's the little instructions for that. Instrucciones. You can go into the interpretation bottom, part of it. Click your language. Selecciona tu lenguaje en el mundito. And because it's a bilingual presentation, será una presentación bilingüe, es importante que selecciones tu lenguaje. Because this will be a bilingual presentation, it is important you select your language. Go at the bottom of the screen or the three dots, go more, interpretation, and hit English or Español. All right. Okay. Well, so let's begin. Let's begin by saying hello. Welcome to the Lunch and Learn of the Science of Mind Archives. My name is Mirna Lopez-Trevithick, and I am part of the board of directors of this beloved organization. And today is my pleasure to be the facilitator of the Lunch and Learn of this monthly gathering, this monthly place where we can learn about our beloved founder, Ernest Holmes, and all the teachings through different audios and see what we get. So before we start, we're going to prepare the space with an invocation. And maybe God in this time will go bilingual. So just remember to go into little globe, press the button of your language, and close your eyes. And so let's just prepare this room, this space, wherever you are. Let's just take a deep breath. Let's put aside everything that we have been doing, all the stuff that we will continue to do. Just put it on a little box for waiting for the perfect time. And just let your body rest right where you are. Feeling the presence. This presence that I call God. The divine. The perfect intelligence. This place that I know I am part of it. And the same truth is for each and every person that is right here and right now in this space. Y sabiendo que la presencia está aquí y en cada uno de nosotros.
And knowing that the presence is here and in each one of us, we prepare the space today to listen, to contemplate and dialogue.
A ese invitado invisible.
And dialogue with this invisible guest in community, knowing that through these teachings and practices, by simply remembering the spiritual truth,
we can empower each other, we can lean with each other, and we can remember the truth of who each and everyone in this planet. So I invite you to open your minds, your hearts, and your everything within you for this Lunch and Learn. And together we say, and so it is, y así es. Oof. Okay. Bienvenidos. Good afternoon. How are you? Again, my name is Mirna Lopez, and I'm part of the board of directors, and it is my honor to present today this series of Lunch and Learn. As you know, we are here in the third Thursday of every month, where we get to share and we get to learn about all the really amazing things and teachings that Ernest Holmes has shared with us. And so today we're actually learning about the talk that is titled Your Invisible Guest. Tu Invitado invisible. And so through this audio that Reverend Kathy is going to share with us, we're going to pay attention to what Ernest Holmes is going to say. And I'm wondering, before we start it, in the chat, if you're able to, put where you're from, which center you are visiting us from, and also, who do you think is your invisible guest? So I'm going to give you just a few seconds to answer that question. Let's see, who is the first one to respond? All right, so I see Del User. I wonder, what's your real name on that? Hot Springs, Missouri. Cindy from San Diego. Oh, my beloved Anita, friend of mine, Plano, Texas. Pat from Manhattan. Marco Lira desde Monterrey. Oh my goodness. Let's see, Annette Clapp from Arlington, Texas. Another one that I know. Of course, let me see who else it was. Maria Elena de Guadalajara, Jalisco. She belongs to the Puerto Rico Center. All right, Anita belongs to CSL Seattle. San Francisco Focus Ministry. Thank you, Paul. The Summit. Okay, all right. And who do you think is that invisible guest? Anyone wants to answer? On the chat, okay? All right, Lian in Puebla, and she belongs to the El Centro, Argentina. All right, okay. All right. Peggy Shin, Jalisco, Mexico. Kalim, Alaska Center for Spiritual Living. Wow, we're all over the world. This is a really cool thing about that we can, doesn't matter where we are, we can connect. So thank you everybody for being here at the Lunch and Learn. It is, I'm really happy, and I can see more people coming in. So as you started coming in, put where you're from, what's the center that you belong to. En Lía nos dice, mi huésped invisible es Dios. Wow,
she says my invisible guest is God.
All right. You didn't
Muy
know
bien.
with you today,
Muy
right?
bien.
All right. So Reverend Kathy, when you're ready, we can share. I invite you just to listen, to take within what Ernest Holmes has for us today. Ready, Reverend Kathy.
All right.
Mastroianni.
Here we go. Mastroianni. That's good. Let's see what Ernest says.
Your Invisible Guest by Ernest Holmes. If God is all there is, it follows that the spirit within us must be some part of the divine being. But this spiritual self is pretty much an unknown guest to all of us. Nothing is more important than that we should know ourselves. In search of this self-discovery, we naturally start with the physical body, and of course, we believe in giving the body every chance to be well and healthy. We believe in proper diet and in sane eating. We realize that we need rest and relaxation, and we accept the findings of modern medicine and surgery. But nowadays, we are told that it is difficult to know just where the body leaves off and the mind begins. And many people are trying to discover just what the relationship between this elusive thing we call the mind is to this other nearly as elusive thing that we call the body. Psychosomatics, or body-mind relationships, is one of the new and expanding ideas in medicine. But there is still another field that remains pretty much unknown, and that is the relationship of the spirit within us to both the mind and the body. For while we have bodies and while we have minds, we also are spirits. And there is a spirit within us that uses both the mind and the body. I believe that everyone, in a sense, has a guardian angel, the angel of his better self, or the angel of the presence of God within him. There is, I think, at the very center of our mental and physical being, such a divine presence, intimately personal to each one of us, the real self, which is forever one with God. And our whole endeavor, whether or not we know it, is to find this real self. This divine presence within is a little different in each one of us, for life never reproduces itself. The resources of God are without limit. No things, people, or events are ever identical. If this were not true, life would be a monotony, and life is monotonous unless we find variations for self-expression. Oh, that isn't good. Go back. If this were not true, life would be a continual monotony, and life is monotonous unless we find variations of self-expression. Some days we want to sing and dance, and at other times we want to become quiet and meditative. At certain moments we want to pour out our whole soul in communion with the Spirit, and at other times we wish to be active and express our feelings in a creative way. It has been demonstrated that when we block these avenues of self-expression and creative living and inhibit their action through us, then we become emotionally congested. And I have no doubt, but if we spend as much time becoming acquainted with the Spirit within us as we do denying its presence, we should discover a wholeness at the center of our being. I have no doubt but that if we were to completely surrender ourselves to this divine presence, everything would be all right in our lives. But if each one of us is an individual in God and a person in his own right by divine decree, then there is no reason why we should pattern our lives after others. For while it is necessary that we live together in peace, in harmony, and in cooperation, it certainly is never necessary that we imitate others. This is the real secret of democracy, that countless numbers of persons learn how to live together while at the same time remaining themselves. We find no difficulty over this in nature, for the peach tree bears fruit beside the blooming rose, and the cactus on the desert has no controversy with the Joshua tree, nor does the lofty mountain feel the need of lowering its peaks because it is surrounded by valleys. Each has the right to live and express himself to the full, but each should and must reserve for himself that divinity which makes him one with God and one with man, while at the same time making each a little different from all the others. There is a place or a possibility in the life of every individual where, without interfering with anyone else, he may, he can, and he should expand to the fullness of the stature of the Son of the living God within him. It is wonderful to me, and indeed the most wonderful thing of all, to realize that there must be something at the center of my being which is the gift of heaven, which makes me just a little different from everyone else, which says to me, follow such genius or ability as you have, and follow it to the full. Don't be afraid of it. And so long as it does not interfere with anyone else, it is right. So long as it is constructive, it is good. So long as it abides in love, it cannot harm anyone. I wonder how many of us take time to become acquainted with this better self, this higher self, this inner self, this man of God whom you and I did not create. If a man were in business and found himself confused, afraid, and perhaps defeated, and you were to say to him, but there is something you have overlooked. You really have a silent partner. There really is an unknown guest, an invisible presence, a divine intelligence that knows how to do everything. There really is a guide that can take you by the hand, lead you down the pathway of the good road of life, which leads to success and happiness. Perhaps if you were to say this to one who is on the verge of defeat, it might astound him. He could hardly believe that such a thing is even possible. But if he should become interested, he might ask, how am I going to become better acquainted with this great big something within me that you tell me knows no defeat, this divine intelligence that you say can guide or lead or direct me into right decisions and right acts that will lead to success, how am I going to become acquainted with this inner presence which has no doubt? I have never yet met a person to whom I could not explain that there is such a presence. And I have never yet met a person who has rejected the idea. When people tell me of the infidels and agnostics and atheists and unbelievers, I merely laugh inside myself. For I know that we could say to such people who think that they don't believe in anything higher or bigger than they are, how do you suppose it is that you can eat ham sandwiches and apple pie and baked potatoes and have them turn into hair and fingernails and flesh and bone and blood? There already is a divine chemist within you who knows how to do all these things. It is simple thoughts like these that startle people into realizing that there really is more to a man, as Walt Whitman said, than is contained between his head and his bootstraps. There really is a spirit in man, and this spirit always is one with everything in the universe. This spirit is always a little different in every person. The only trouble with us when we become confused is that we have slipped our moorings somewhere. We have disconnected the thread of life that runs from the infinite to the finite, and in so doing we really have missed the boat. I have seen so many people reborn, remade and renewed in mind and body, just through taking a little time to get acquainted with the better self, that I know there is an invisible and almost unknown guest who accompanies everyone through life. What could be more amazing? What could be more wonderful than the thought that, as isolated as I appear to be, as confused as we most certainly are a great deal of the time, there still is this invariable guide. There is still with us a divine intelligence that knows the answers. It is no wonder that it has been written that the wisdom of man is foolishness to God. You see, we have learned so much that is not true. And to you and to me, this means that perhaps we have to retrace our steps and start all over again. And just as we started as a babe in our mother's arms and gradually become adults, perhaps we will have to start as another kind of babe in the arms of the infinite intelligence and again grow up into a different kind of an adulthood. The world has failed to reach its goal. It has blasted itself on the rocks of fear and wrecked its life on the shores of unbelief. We do need a chart and a compass, a guide and a pilot, but not an external one, not someone else to tell us what to do or how we ought to do it or how we ought to live, not someone who wishes merely to impose his own will on ours or just impress us. This is the pathway that leads to nowhere, where the trail runs out and stops. We need an inner guide. And the miracle of it all is that we already have this inner guide. He has been there all the time, waiting. And so we would take time every day to form new habits of thought. We should take time to affirm the presence of the divine man, the whole man. This is something no one can do for us but ourselves. But the one who will take the time to affirm the presence of divine intelligence guiding him very soon will discover that those moments spent in meditative prayer are always followed by a betterment in his circumstances and in his physical body, as though some new life-giving force were being poured into them. And above everything else, he will find a peace and a sense of security without which no one can be happy or whole. Yes, there is a divine presence at the center of your being. There is a spirit in man, and to each one of us it comes fresh and new and wonderful every day, and more wonderful as the days pass by. This thing which is the gift of heaven and the decree of God. And so take time every day to say to yourself, peace is the power at the heart of God. I recognize this peace in which I live as closer to me than my very breath, nearer than my hands or feet. And there is a calm at the center of my being, and there is a calm at the center of everyone's being. There is a confidence and a joy at the center of all things. It is this peace, this joy, and this confidence that I meet in every person and in every situation. I bring peace to everything I contact, and I bring joy to everyone I meet. And my peace and joy makes their peace and joy full. There is a law of good governing my life that automatically draws me to people and to circumstances which make life full and complete and happy. This happiness I bring to others, and this happiness I receive from them. It is my desire that everything I do, everything I say and think shall bless everyone, and shall bless everything I contact. And even as I desire this blessing for others, I receive it back again into my own being. And I know that there is that within me, which heals every situation it contacts, helps every person it meets, brings love and goodwill and friendship, and a sense of joy and peace and power unto everything that I do. And under that presence, which knows all things, and that power which can do all things, be glory and honor, dominion and power, both now and forevermore.
Ooh. I'm actually kind of not sure if I have the words to speak after listening to this beautiful recording of Ernest Holmes and what he remembers who our invisible guest is. It just feels so good to be reminded. So before we start conversation, for those that just joined us after we started, thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of the Lunch and Learn. Just a small reminder that we do this every single month on the third Thursday. And, we have a list, we listen to something that Ernest Holmes has led us that reminds us of that truth. And then we'll get together as a community and different groups where each of you can share what this resonated with you or what reminded you. So we're going to spend for another 15 minutes in groups, as just say join, and then just talk to what inspired you or what spoke to you about Ernest Holmes, or if you discover who your invisible guest is, because I don't know, we'll see. So the rooms are ready. I'm going to send you to, I prepare English and Spanish. If you're in a room that I assign you, because some of them you don't have names on it, and I don't know if you speak Spanish or not, and some of them. So just if you don't know and you're in the incorrect room, come back to the main room and I assign you to the correct one, all right? So just say accept, and we'll see you in a few minutes. Todos están aquí. All right, so I'm going to invite, actually, I'm going to continue to give the word to Claudia, because it looks like everybody was excited about this. So this is the time where we get to share. What do you get from this? What inspired you? What do you remember? Something. So we're going to ask you to raise your hand. Make sure that you have your microphones also in mute, so that we can hear those that are speaking. And when it's your time, raise your hand and in mute. So, Claudia, ¿por qué no continúas? Nos abres este espacio. What do you get from what this recording tell you about it? Adelante. And then I'm going to look for hands, all right? Adelante, Claudia. So remember, Claudia's going to speak in Spanish, Make sure for English speakers, you select at the bottom of the screen, you select your English so then you can hear the translation. All right?
Mirna, could you tell people how to do it on a cell phone?
On the cell
I
phone.
had someone in
Okay,
my
so
group
on
on
the
a cell
cell
phone.
phone is also you go and the three dots. There's you go on the three dots, and then from there you select interpretation. And then from you select your language, English or Spanish. If you're bilingual, you can just stay on original audio. And then we're going to go through Claudia, Reverend
Thank
Kathy,
you.
and then we'll go Eliberto after that. Claudia primero y luego Eliberto. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Adelante. Ok, Claudia, ¿qué te dejó este escrito? Este audio.
Pues muchos, recordar que no
It-
solamente somos un
it-
cuerpo
a
de,
lot. I mean,
de
it left
saber
a
que
lot
esa
with
amada
me
presencia,
to remember that
esa presencia invisible, que
the
no la vemos
invisible
así
presence,
tangible, que
that
no
it
la
is
podemos
not
tocar, pero
tangible,
bueno, siento que la
cannot
puedo
be
tocar a
touched,
través de las
but I
personas,
can touch
a
it through
través de las
people,
circunstancias que me
through the
suceden y que
circumstances,
siempre he
and
estado
that
presente, que en ningún
has always,
momento
always been
de mi vida,
present.
hasta cuando estoy
At no
inconsciente de su
time in my
presencia,
life, not
ahí
even
está,
when I'm
vivo,
unconscious of
latente,
it, it is there,
expresándose en cada persona, en cada
alive,
circunstancia,
latent,
en
expressing
una
every
flor,
person in
en
every
una situación
circumstance,
hermosa,
in a flower,
incluso en
in a
lo que
beautiful
parece
situation,
no estar bueno,
even,
pero
even
yo sé
what
que hay una
appears not
bendición
to be good,
disfrazada y adentro
but I
de
know it
todo
is there.
ese,
And
de toda
inside
esa situación,
all of
está
that
la presencia de
situation,
Dios ahí,
the presence of
siempre
God is
presente,
there,
siempre diciéndonos algo
always
para
present,
seguir creciendo en
always
conciencia, seguir
say something to
avanzando
grow
y
our
sobre todo
consciousness, to
seguir
move forward,
viviendo su
and
vida como
especially
quiere que la vivamos, en
to
armonía, en
live our
paz, en amor,
life
en
in
plenitud, en todas las
harmony,
áreas de
in
nuestra vida.
love, in
Esta
fullness.
filosofía para mí, la verdad,
This
me ha dado
philosophy for
un
me
despertar maravilloso
has
y a seguir creciendo en
really
conciencia y
awakened
a
me,
seguir
and I
viendo
shall
como Dios
continue to
ve, o
grow
sea, todo
and
lo
seeing the
bueno
way
primero en
God
nosotros
sees.
para poder percibirlo afuera. Entonces,
First of
es
all,
algo
within
muy
us, and
enriquecedor
then we
que
can
en
perceive it
muchas
in the
áreas de
outside.
nuestra vida las estamos
It's very
experimentando
enriching, and we are experiencing in every
y me
area
dejó
of our
así como
lives.
comentaba ahorita Heriberto,
As Heriberto
el
said a
saber que
while
siempre
ago,
está ahí,
you
que
know,
nunca
just
estuvo afuera,
knowing that it's
eso fue
always
algo
there. It was
maravilloso
never
que en
outside,
su tiempo a
but
mí
within.
me
It
tocó
was
el
just
alma y
wonderful.
eso
It
me dio
just
una paz
touched
y
my
una
soul.
seguridad de
It
saber
gave me
que
peace
simplemente al
and
cerrar mis ojos
certainty because
estoy
I
más
know that
consciente de su
as soon as I
presencia.
close my eyes, I'm
Muchas,
aware of His
Muchas
presence.
gracias.
Thank
muchas
you.
gracias, Claudia. Cerrar los ojos. Estás en la presencia.
Close
Thank
your
you
eyes.
very
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
Thank you. Gracias.
Thank you.
All right. Eliberto, veo Eliberto. Abre tu micrófono, querido Eliberto. What do you want to share today with us?
No podía abrir mi micrófono. Ok,
I
ya
couldn't do it, I'm
lo
sorry.
he abierto.
But
Yo le comentaba al grupo que al
I
principio,
was telling the group
cuando
that at
empecé a
first,
estudiar
when I
para
started
hacerme practicante en Agape, me
studying
costaba
to
entender
become a
este concepto
practitioner
de la
in Agape,
presencia.
it was
Y mi
difficult for me
profesora
to
me decía, es que
understand this
cuando tú
concept
entras
of
a un
the presence.
salón, no
And
entra tu
and I
cuerpo,
was
entra
told,
tu presencia.
when
Tu
you
presencia
go
habla
into a
por ti.
room, it is not
Y
your
de
body
esta
going in,
presencia,
but
como lo
your
dijo
presence,
claramente
and your
Claudia, no nos
presence
podemos
talks.
separar.
And as Claudia says, we
Entonces,
cannot
es
be separate
interesante
from
cómo
it. So it is
vivimos en piloto
interesting
automático
how we
y
live
se
in
nos
automatic
olvida que
pilot
esta
and we
presencia
forget
está
that this
activa
presence
dentro de
is
nosotros. Entonces
active
nos
within
servía
us.
como recordatorio
And
de
it's
esa
always
persona que llega
sending,
cuando vas
reminders,
conduciendo en el coche y
like
te
when
quiere
you're
limpiar
driving
el parabrisas
and,
y tú le
this
dices de
person
mal
wants to
genio que
clean
no.
your,
O
your
simplemente una
windshield
persona que te pide
and
algo en la
you in a
calle
bad mood said
y que
no,
tú la ves con
or
hambre
somebody
y
on
tú
the street
simplemente miras para el otro lado.
looks hungry and
Entonces
you
es
look the
importante
other way.
saber de que esa
So it is
presencia está en
important
todos, no
that
importa cómo
to
esa
know
persona
that
se
this
llame,
presence
qué
is in
color sea su
everybody. It
piel
doesn't
o
matter
cómo
who
esté
the
vestida.
person is, how they're
Pero lo
dressed,
otro
how do they
también
look.
que es
And
importante
the
es
other
saber
thing,
que esa
the
presencia
other
se
important
expresa
thing is
en todo momento a
that
través
the
de
presence
nosotros
is
y estamos
expressing
tan ocupados
continuously
en
through us.
en
However,
vivir
we are
que
so
ni
busy in
siquiera
living
somos conscientes
that
de
we
que está enviando
are
mensajes.
not aware
Entonces
that
necesitamos
it's
espejos que
sending
son personas
messages.
que están
So
al
we need
frente
mirrors.
nuestro
mirrors who
que
are people
notan
in front of
la
us
luz en
who are
nosotros que
also
nosotros ni siquiera
sending
podemos ver en
messages,
nosotros
and they're
mismos.
sending the
Así que
light
este
that we
huésped
cannot see in
silencioso
ourselves.
siempre
So
está
this
activo y
invisible
siempre
guest is
está
always
buscando
active and
expresarse a través
always
de nosotros.
looking
Y
to
termino con
express
esta
itself
frase
through
de
us.
Ernest Holmes que
And I
dice,
close
somos
with
una
this
entrada y una
quote:
salida del
we are
Espíritu.
an
Somos una
entry and an
entrada y una
exit
salida de
of
Dios.
spirit. We
Entonces,
are the entry
Dios
and exit of
siempre
God.
está
So God
expresándose
is
a través
always
de nosotros,
expressing
aún, como lo
through
dijo
us,
Claudia claramente, cuando no
as
estamos
Claudia
conscientes
clearly
de lo que
said,
somos. Esa
even when we are
individualización
not aware
perfecta,
of that,
completa de
that
Dios,
perfect
creados a imagen y semejanza,
individualization of
una
God.
obra maestra
What
individual, bella,
a
completa
great
y entera.
masterpiece.
Muchas gracias.
Beautiful. Thank you. Beautiful,
My
complete.
goodness, muchas gracias, Eliberto. Sí, somos
Wow.
entrada y una
Yes,
salida de
we are
Dios.
an
We can
entry
never
and
separate
an exit.
from our source, right? Oh,
See.
thank you, thank you, thank you for sharing. Who else? Who else wants to share? What are you taking today from this recording from Ernest Holmes? Anybody wants to raise their hand? Come on, don't be shy. I know that this group likes to talk and share. This is the moment. Because remember, you have one more month until you're able to share. So anybody else? I can't see. If you're raising your actual hand, I cannot see you. But if you're raising your little, okay, Charlie, I can see you now, Charlie.
Yeah, thank you. I love the recording. I had difficulty getting set up this morning with I'm in a new home and had Wi-Fi, and I just connected in time to hear most of Ernest Holmes' talk, and it was a tremendous review. It's like refreshing to hear it again and again. So thank you for presenting that.
Thank you. Thank you. And I am so happy that you were able to join us and that you're taking something with you. So thank you for joining us. Even if
And
you
I even got the interpretation, half of it. So to work. Yay.
Perfect,
Yay.
perfect. Okay, thank you. Just remember, these presentations are bilingual. So you're here with us every month. We invite you to get kind of used to that. And, because we want to make sure that everybody here, it's included and understands what is being communicated in different languages. Thank you, Charlie, for speaking. I have Annette. Annette, you want
Hi,
to?
everybody. I don't know why my video camera's not working, but I'm glad that I can
Yeah,
at least see you all and hear you all, and glad you can hear me. I love the part where he talks about we believe in eating sanely and resting. When you need rest, then you rest. And I remember the first time I heard that, I literally laughed out loud because I thought, oh, yeah, it's such common sense, isn't it? It's so obvious that eating sanely, it meant to me, don't overeat, don't undereat. Listen, be mindful of your body. When you're hungry, that's when you eat. When you're full, that's when you stop. When you need rest, that's when you rest. But we do need those reminders about listening within, listening to our body, listening to our intuition, which I think is when he talks about what did he call it? The invisible self or the invisible friend or something like that.
Yes.
The invisible guest. Yes. I think that's my God self, my higher self, my intuition, the God within. And that if we just listen to it, we won't deprive ourselves or overindulge. We'll get enough sleep, we'll get enough food, we'll get everything we need if we just listen to the God within. That's what I got out of it. That's what I liked.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. And I like that he spoke about the mind and the body, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he started with, yes, we know, we really listen to our body. We know when it's time to eat and when it's time to stop.
Mm-hmm.
But also there is this other kind of type of food that is our mind, right? Where do we focus our mind? Do we listen to the news that are usually not positive? And how are we affecting that? Or we just go quiet and listen to God within. That is always, always good, regardless of it. All right, anybody else? We have probably a minute or two before we stop, and then we talk about what's going on the Science of Mind archives. Anybody? Let's see. I don't see any hands or any little hands, physical or little emojis. Let's see. Okay, Peggy. And with Peggy, that will be our last comment, and then we'll go to the announcements. All right, Peggy. Adelante.
Well, maybe I could save it if someone else wants to make a comment, because I actually have a question that might be more suitable in the announcement section or something. I wrote Kathy Mastriani, but I'm not too clear, but she did put it on the chat if you want to look at it, about the recording of this afterwards. In my small group with Kaleem, we had conversation about how both of us really wanted to have this available to look at, or to know where to find it in the archives and so forth. So I wrote to Kathy, and she has responded in the chat, but I'm not sure if it's just to me or to the whole chat.
Right. So the recording, usually if you go to the Science of Mind archives webpage, you can see it. If you're friends of the archives, you can download it. But also, if you want to hear the presentation again, you can go into our YouTube page. So there's two ways at it. If you're friends of the archives, you have access to that with your membership. But if not, then you can always go into the YouTube link. That will be maybe this afternoon, we'll see, or tomorrow. For sure, by tomorrow you can listen to this one. Okay.
She sent me the link, and if it wasn't posted for everybody, I'll put it back in the chat for everybody to be able to see it.
Okay.
And then that'll be it. Kaleem and I were on the same page about how we thought this reading today was so totally current in its topic, covering the idea of the individuality of the spirit within each person, but our desire for oneness, and to learn how to be getting along with all those other individual spirits that had a little bit of different representation of God as their spirit, is how I choose to rephrase it. But thanks.
Thank you, Peggy. Thank you. All right.
I have an announcement too.
Thank you. So with that, we are, the presentation and the dialogue is to completion, but I'm going to pass the voice to Reverend Kathy, which has some announcements regarding the archives. Reverend Kathy, adelante.
Muchas gracias, Mirna, and we're always so grateful for Lorenza and her wonderful translation. So thank you so much. And I love how our community is growing. Our bilingual community is growing here. And it is thanks to Mirna and Lorenza that we can do that. So thank you. And thank you everyone for coming. So the Science of Mind Archives is so touched and grateful that we can present this to you. This is what we do. You know, archives might sound dusty and old, but no, we dust it off and we make it fresh and new and digitize it, and this is what we can do with it. I think I can share, I have a friend of mine who's a minister, and her dad was a minister, and she was telling me about him, and I did a quick search in the archives. I found an audio recording of his that was so phenomenal, and I was able to share it with her, and she said that meant so much to me to hear and experience her father again in his element, sharing at Asilomar. And so it's just, I think, as you can tell, listening to Ernest Holmes, we're bringing it to life. We're bringing our history and Dr. Ernest Holmes, all this, because it is relevant today. We can use it in our lives today, this wisdom. So very powerful. So I'm going to show you, I like to help people. That's just kind of who I am in the world. So I want to help guide folks with the things that we even put in the chat. So that's why I kind of started off with a blank screen here. So if you go up to just your browser and you type in YouTube, and it does know me pretty well. Come on, love. There she blows. And you want to find the archives, when you just go to your search, and again, it knows me really well. You can just type in Science of Mind, Archives and Library. And then it's like the second one down. You'll see Ernest Holmes' face. And then when you go in there, you're good to go. Just make sure you're subscribed to it, and that way you'll get notifications when these lunch and learns come up. So here's like the most recent videos are all down here, but we also have a playlist. And if you go to the Lunch and Learn playlist, so you can see we have from our grand opening, we have abundance preservation, really incredible wise sage interviews, which actually Reverend Paul Ski is on our Lunch and Learn. He's been editing them for us. Wisdom of the Mystics, which we actually used in a class recently. But then here you go. Here's all our Lunch and Learns. So hopefully it's pretty easy to navigate and find. And so I also encourage you to go to the archives website. So I needed to find the link for the Lunch and Learn today for our new staff person who I want to introduce. So I went to the website, I went to resources, went down, saw Lunch and Learn series, clicked on it, and there's the link. And so if you can ever not find the email, want to know where to go, it's just the link right here. So hopefully, again, that's simple and easy. So again, our website really is full of wonderful products and information. Our newsletter, always make sure you're signed up for our newsletter because we send out a reminder the week of the Lunch and Learn, and we send another email out. So again, sciencemindarchives.com, and then newsletter sign up. Very easy to do. But also, as you can see here on our homepage, we're about to do another special presentation. We're starting to do these, especially for our friends of the archives, but they're for everyone. Reverend Dr. Jesse Jennings is going to do It Helps You Find Yourself, nearly 100 years of Science of Mind magazine, and he is amazing. And so we're creating more benefits for our friends. And if you're a friend of the archives, which is under Join Us individual, it's only $16 a month or $189 a year, but you're getting so much more. We're really adding the benefits for you, like these free presentations and workshops. Alrighty, so what I want to do now, and I hope he's okay with me sharing him. So we have a new staff person. Hi, Britt. We have someone here, so hopefully I'm going to introduce him. So here he is. So this is thanks to all of your support and all of your prayers. The Science Mind Archives just hired a new archivist librarian, Britt Burns. He's in his 3rd week here. And please give him a warm welcome, everyone. We're just so happy. He's the dude preserving our history, going through these archival boxes, finding treasures, and making them available for each one of us. So would you like to say a word or two, Britt?
I just was going to say hi, everyone. Thank you. And I'm very happy to be here. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So excited. Well, we just had a meeting just earlier today with Unity Archives and INTA Archives. We're the 3 archives on the campus here at Unity Village. And we're really collaborating and working well together. And we're learning different ways that we can improve how we're processing and organizing. And so Britt has just jumped in. He has wonderful background and experience. We're very blessed to have him with us. So thank you.
Oh, thank you, Kathy.
So there you go. That's what I have, and we're grateful to be here. I'm going to hand it back to our beloved and beautiful Mirna.
Perfect. Thank you. So to go and to finish this session, I just want to invite you to our closing session. First of all, I want to say thank you to everyone that was part of it. Thank you, Lorenza, for giving your talent, your gift, so that we can connect. So I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. I'm going to read a very small part of the talk today from Ernest Holmes. That was my favorite, and I know it was the favorite of many of them. So just close your eyes. And so I invite you to take time every day to say to yourself, peace is the power at the heart of God. I recognize this peace in which I live as closer to me than my very breath, nearer than my hands or feet, and that there is calm at the center of my being, and there is calm at the center of everyone's being. There is a confidence and a joy at the center of all things. It is this peace, this joy, and this confidence that I meet in every person and in every situation. I bring peace to everything I contact. I bring joy to everyone I meet. And my peace and joy makes their peace and joy full. And so it is. So thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. See you next month. Remember to mark in your calendars. Third Thursday of the month, we are here with the Science Archives and Lunch and Learn. Muchas gracias a todos los que nos acompañaron. Es un gusto tenerlos aquí. Gracias, gracias. Hasta el próximo mes.
Thank you all.
Bye.
See you
later.
next month.